Black woman. Beautiful, powerful, resilient female of African descent with skin kissed by the sun. Conversation. A talk, especially an informal one between two or more people in which news and ideas are exchanged. We love being Black women. Black women are ambitious. Black women are confident. Black women are diligent. We are tenacious. We walk out of our houses put together. We are many shades and personalities of fabulous. But we as Black women don't talk about our dilemmas, current events, and what's going on every day that affects us. So we created this podcast as a way to laugh together, cry together, and have an open conversation about life as Black women.
Oh, that's deep. Black Women Conversations.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Janine.
How's your week been?
It's been long. I've been on call. And you know, it's funny because a friend of mine was like, weren't you just on call? I'm like, yes. I feel like I've been on call forever. But other than that, it's been okay.
I feel like I don't feel like it's every single week. I feel like every other week you say like, I've been on call or they working me like a Hebrew slave. And then I'm like, well, didn't you just say that last week? I feel like you're the doctor who is the most on call. Like it almost feels like you're an ER surgeon. Like what is going on?
I'm really not. I'm not the most on call. I think it's just that how the call weeks hit this November, May, it has been like the weeks have been a little close together. And then in June, I don't think I have any weeks of call if I'm remembering correctly. So I do get a little bit of a respite coming up here soon.
Okay, if you say so. Because if you say that you're on call in June, I'm going to remind you that today you said you have a respite in June. And then we need to have some conversations with whoever is in charge of your HR, because this seems like some unfair treatment to me. But, I'm just saying.
So what you been up to this week, Janine?
We're preparing for the show that airs tonight, and I'm kind of excited to see it. Have you ever completed a project and you're like, I really worked really hard on this, but I don't know how I feel about it? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, you'll probably feel accomplished and, yes, I did it. Once it actually happens, you'll feel relieved and then you'll be like, okay, well, what's next?
Yeah, I already actually started working on next because I am that kind of person where like as soon as the finishing touches start to be put on the last show or the last project, I like to start working on the next project so that my creative juices keep flowing. Pray to the good Lord Jesus that this show gets some great ratings and we just prepare for the next show, which the next show is a digital show. So it will be, not as large as this one and it will be at the end of June. So that's what I've been doing. And I told my husband that I was going to tell on him because my husband conveniently threw his ring out of the window this weekend.
What did you do, Janine? What did you do?
No, I did not do anything. Apparently, so this is the story that he's telling me, right? So apparently, supposedly, he was driving, the temperature was so nice outside. So he was driving with the window down and a bee flew into the window. Now tell me what this sounds like to you. A bee flies into the window. He tries to shoo the bee away and flings his ring across the highway.
Now,
Thank you.
Listen, maybe he's dropped some weight and the finger is thin and
he has, and it's too big. I will give you that. However, if you know that your ring is too big, either one, get a ring guard, two, don't wear it until you get it resized, or three, how about you not fling it out of a window of a moving car on a highway? I'm just saying.
It's time for you to upgrade him then, Janine. He needs an upgrade.
Nope.
Listen.
He will be upgrading himself now that he threw thousands of dollars out of the window.
No, that man that man is slimmed down. His ring is too big now. It was an honest mistake. He didn't do anything. Go ahead and upgrade him.
If I tell you that was the upgraded ring, how mad would you be?
Okay. Now I would be like, okay, he needs to get his life together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now we're back to the original ring.
He has a backup.
The upgraded ring is on the highway somewhere. And I literally felt like, how something bothers you so bad? Like I had a dream last night that I was putting out yard signs that say, if you find it, please call this number. Because
let me
it's
ask you this. Now, if it were you though, and you had lost weight and the ring was too big for your finger now, and you did not have a ring guard on, and your hand was out of the window and a bee flew by and you were trying to swat the bee away and you flung the ring off and you went home and said, baby, I lost the ring. Would you be like, I'm just going to buy my own ring?
No.
Or would you expect for him to replace your ring?
I would expect for USAA Insurance to replace my ring. But other than that, no. Here's the thing. I get it. I understand. And if my husband were any of the other losers that I had dated prior to now, I probably would be more angry about it. It's okay. I will get over it. But I feel like whoever finds this ring, God bless them. And please either use it or take it to a pawn shop and get some money out of it because, it's so frustrating. But you know what? It's material things. Thank God that my husband didn't get stung by a bee and go into anaphylactic shock and die. So there we go. There's the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, yes, that is the light. At least your honey is still here, right? Who knows? This could have been a my girl type situation. Okay. And it's not a my girl type situation. So we're going to let this ride and we're going to keep it moving.
Okay. You're right. Because it could be worse. Just saying. It really could be.
So on another note, so I started watching, is it The Upshaws on Netflix this weekend?
The Black Show.
With Kim Fields and what's the guy's name?
David Allen Greer.
No. Kim Fields is on it. Mike Epps.
Hold on. I need to see this. Didn't it just come out?
It just came out. It was number 2 yesterday on Netflix. It's number 1 now.
Really?
And it is so good.
Okay.
It reminds me of, what is it? That other show with the Wayans.
Which
Marlon Wayans, his show on Netflix. But either way, it is really, really good. You have got to watch this. And it's not one of those like sci-fi shows. It's like a family show. It's
that
a family
makes sense.
show.
I just looked it up and it says that it was created by Wanda Sykes. So
Wanda
she
Sykes
is
is on there.
hilarious to me.
She's the sister. Can you imagine Wanda Sykes and Mike Epps together?
That is just
on the same
a
show?
good old cutting up funny time. I can only imagine.
Found myself literally laughing out loud. And I don't, some shows are sort of like corny. They have like a little bit of humor to them. No, this show is freaking hilarious. I will be binge watching it later today again.
Okay, well, I'm going to watch it because that's the kind of show that I like. I don't like that monsters jumping out of places. That's weird to me. Mad weird. But yes, a sitcom, Wanda Sykes, Mike Epps, even Kim Fields. I'm here for it all. Let me tell you something. Shout out to Kim Fields for having such a long career. You know what? She has reinvented herself. What is this, the 3rd iteration of what we know Kim Fields to be? I'm here for it.
I love Kim Fields. She did not fit into that Real Housewives of Atlanta clique. And that's because she's just too classy for it.
I was about to say, that's probably a good thing.
She was looking around at them like, oh,
it's okay. You called them right, but we'll bleep that out.
She was looking around at them like, y'all are doing what? Y'all are twerking where? Y'all are somebody's mamas. Like, y'all are fighting where? Yeah. I am not with this. Like, I am a whole A-list actress. I'm above this. And she got her coat, had her coat, and she exited stage left. She's like, I'm not coming back for another season. And I don't blame her.
Me either.
She did a real job.
Right.
I don't blame her.
And that's the thing. Like, outside of Candy, to be very honest with you, what do any of them do? Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but like, Candy has money. Candy's money is long. Okay. We all are very well aware. She made a bunch of hits, Scrubs, Bills, like all of that. Candy's money is long. She's getting checks and residual checks and checks and checks and checks if she never does anything again. Right. And then Kim Fields, she is already an actress. What do the rest of them do? Help me. Maybe it's me. Maybe I don't know, but whatever. I agree with her decision to exit the show because the show seems to do interesting things to people's career.
But I love this show.
I'm going to watch it. Nicole, did you get a gas shortage yet?
Everybody's talking about this gas shortage. Thank God I don't know anything about that. My friends that are in Atlanta keep on calling me talking about a gas shortage. I just pray for Jesus that don't come here. Because, they're pulling the gas up, the oil and the gas up out the Gulf right there. I can go swim down there to the oil tank. I'm just saying, we better not experience a gas shortage here because we're going to be in dead trouble. Because let me tell you something about Houston. It's big here. There's no public transportation here. And listen, before we started this episode, I was telling Janine how many hospitals I had to drive through. I don't have time for a gas shortage. Okay? Yeah. Don't have time for it.
So here, there has been a gas shortage and a couple of things about it. And, one, so I had to travel to the other side of town, and I'm going to specify that this side of town is more predominantly Black than the side of town that I live on. And, not to say anything about the different sides of town, but to point out that on that side of town, I was about to not run out of gas, but I had gotten to a quarter of a tank of gas. So I needed to get gas. I had to go to 4 different gas stations before I found a gas station that actually had gas. And then, as if I don't already hate the gas station enough, which I'll tell you the story maybe one day of why I hate the gas station so much. Like, I have gas station trauma that runs deep. But I go to the gas station, I hear someone say, hey, peep around the corner. And this man that has on a teal sweatsuit with matching J's, Jordans for those who don't understand what J's are, asked me for gas, sir. How is it that you have on hundreds of dollars worth of clothing and sneakers? Oh, and a pair of Versace sunglasses. Let's not forget that part. And Coolio braids. If you don't know what Coolio braids are, look that up. And you about to sit here and ask me for gas while you holding up the gas pump, and it's 2, 3, 4 people at each pump waiting to get gas. Sir, if you don't go head on somewhere and move your car from this gas pump and stop wasting up these people's time. But I say that it was on that side of town because on my side of town, we haven't run out of gas. I was telling Ken, and Ken was like, I haven't seen any gas shortage. And I'm like, but I had a gas shortage. Like, literally, I had 19 miles of gas and I needed to get home, and it was 22 miles away. So, and he was like, yep, still haven't seen any gas shortage. So I think that the gas shortage was exacerbated by people's fear that they were going to run out of gas. And then people started hoarding gas, and subsequently there was no gas.
Don't bring that down here. We don't have time.
But, people in the hoarding of gas, I just think it's dumb. Like, I saw something on the internet that says, yeah, people are in their house hoarding gas, but they're the same people who don't wear a mask and they think that that's safe. So, we'll see. Hopefully the gas shortage is over so we don't have to deal with it, much longer.
Hopefully. So before we move any further, let's talk about how dope our listeners are. I mean, they're just y'all are amazing.
Super dope. Like, I feel like we couldn't have asked for better listeners. If we could have predicted what our listeners were going to be like, I feel like we could not have asked for better listeners. We've reached 5,000 people that follow the podcast on Instagram this week. Like, you all are super, super supportive, and we love you for it.
We love you guys. So we do appreciate you guys. I know on Facebook, we have almost 1,000 listeners. So if you're on Facebook and you're also on Instagram, come on over to Facebook. There's nothing wrong with the Facebook side of things. So y'all know that it's usually me on Facebook because I like articles.
And I'm usually the one on IG because I prefer the pictures.
So y'all come on over to Facebook. But I will say, let me talk about my Facebook people because they are faithful. Like, when I post something, they're going to give you the full opinion of anything that's posted. They are super diehard. So
they do.
Shout out to our Facebook top fans. I love them. Love them. But friends, y'all got to keep sharing. Make sure to listen and rate us. And drop the comments on whatever platform you're listening in.
Yes. So the reviews help us get to the top. So the more that you rate and review us, if you give us a 5-star rating and you give us a great review, we then rise to the top so more people can see us and you can share this podcast with more people. So when work opens back up, y'all can have water cooler conversation about, oh, that's deep. Just saying.
Matter of fact, just play it in the office. Just play it. That's PG-13.
Absolutely. PG-13. We keep it clean over here.
Oh, no. Sometimes we don't keep it all the way clean, but you know what we mean.
But anyway. We thank you. We appreciate you and we love you. And we appreciate that you all are our friends and that you join the conversation each week. We really do.
We do. Love y'all. Okay, Janine, what's on your timeline this week?
Okay, so we briefly talked about the Real Housewives of Atlanta just a couple of minutes ago, but let me say this. Clearly, okay, so Porsha Williams, she's a cast member of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Clearly, she doesn't listen to our podcast, but somebody needs to send her our podcast so that she can listen to it, so that she does not continue down this road that she's on now, because I'm just a little perplexed. But again, not my business. I'm just here to tell the story. So Porsha Williams from the Real Housewives of Atlanta recently announced that she's engaged to Simon. I am not about to butcher this man's last name, but a quick Google search, you'll figure out what his last name is. Now, this may seem like we are being haters, but we are not. Nicole and I love, and we wish the new couple the very best. But, and I say but because no, it's not a caveat to us wishing them the best, but here are some things that give us a little pause, okay? So the first thing is Simon is still married. How are you engaged when you literally are still married? Married, not divorced, maybe separated. It's unclear whether they're separated or not. But hey, look, you still have a wife legally on paper. That sounds weird to me, but nonetheless, that gives me pause. The second part about that gives me pause is the person that Simon is married to is a lady named Fallon, who is Porsha's friend. Now, let me say this. Porsha says that they are not friends, but Janine, being the person that she is, did a little digging. And I found an interview that Fallon did with Kandi. And Kandi reveals in the interview, Kandi asks Fallon, hey, Fallon, you came onto the show as a friend of Porsha. And then she asked her, she says basically like, tell me how that came to be. And then Fallon goes on to say that Simon, who is her current husband and Porsha's soon-to-be husband, and Dennis, who is Porsha's baby's father, were friends. And subsequently, Fallon and Porsha became friends. So this is all super tangly because the man that Porsha had a baby with is friends with the man that she is now engaged to, who is also the husband of her friend. Mad weird, mad strange. Like, what is going on over here? But again, we digress and we now move on. So the other things that are weird is Porsha and Simon have only been together for a month and they're now engaged. So you've been dating for a month. Now look, I believe in love at first sight, but this ain't love at first sight because you done known this man for a long time. So that's not what this is. I believe in love at first sight, but that's not this. And you've been in a relationship for a month and you know him well enough, his ins and outs and his behaviors that you're willing to marry him. Okay, maybe it's just me, but I just feel like it's moving a little quick. Another thing, this seems like a connection of opportunity to me rather than a connection of love. And I could be wrong, but arrows are all pointing to opportunity. It's not really pointing to love. It's not giving love to me, but who am I? So Simon apparently has several businesses. They say he has like bars and restaurants and barbershops, and they're reporting that he's worth millions of dollars. I read somewhere that he's worth like $40 million. And if you're going based on his house, his car, and the private jets that he apparently is flaunting on his social media pages, he's doing pretty well for himself, but he wants to be on television. The opposite side of this, Porsha, she, I don't know really what she does outside of Dish Nation and the show. So I don't know if she needs the money to maintain her lifestyle or she doesn't need the money to maintain her lifestyle. She might have her own coins. I don't know. All I'm saying is this just looks real opportunistic to me, but that's just me. Another thing is, as if this is already not strange enough, it's said, and I'm going to say that this is pure speculation because we don't know, can't verify the information that this young lady is giving, but it's said that Simon could have already cheated on Porsha. So now, not only are you cheating on your estranged wife, but you are now cheating on your future wife. Because apparently the cheating happened while they were dating, but not quite engaged yet. The timeline's a little murky, but again, it's exhausting just talking about it. So here's what happened. This young lady named Jessica Harris came forward saying that she met Simon back in March 30th and that he took her and her friends back to their home. Apparently, they hung out at her house. They were complaining. he was complaining rather that, his marriage was weird and in shambles and giving them way too much information. The kind of information that a liar gives you when they're trying to convince you of the story and it's just a little too much and it's a little too packed on. That's kind of what he was giving. And she came with the receipts, Nicole. The crazy part is she took pictures and they're in the pictures. You can see she's holding a hoodie that you see in another picture that he's wearing in her lap. And she's sitting in the car that you see him driving. Like, it's just a mess all the way around. I believe that she even came up with text messages. I mean, like, what is going on here? Like, really, ladies? Like, everybody's about to hop on this one? Why? But again, that's not even it. As I said, this is a mess. But let me go back to the opportunistic part. But this is the part that gives me the most pause. So it is said that Porsha has a 3-part Bravo special about her life that's in the works. I hope we aren't wrecking homes and ruining marriages and marrying our friends' husbands for reality TV or for a little bit of a coin, but that's sure what it's looking like with this one.
I'm a fan of Porsha, okay? I'm a fan of Porsha. There's certain things, y'all should see Johnny shaking her head at me. There's certain things, and I'm loyal. Let me say this, okay?
You are.
I know I don't watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I haven't watched it since Phaedra got kicked off the show. And I haven't watched it because I was a fan of Phaedra's. You know how you identify with certain people and like that is your person. When that person goes off, you're like, okay, I'm not watching it anymore. And Phaedra was that person for me. I consider Phaedra somebody that was a grinder, somebody that was, to me, very authentic, and somebody that was doing something more than the rest of these chicks because everybody else didn't have no job except for Phaedra and Candy. So for me, those were the people that I identified with on the show. And so when Phaedra left the show, I was like, okay, I'm done. Now, Phaedra and Porsha were click tight. So I like Porsha. Now, Portia's not the smartest cookie. The Underground Railroad comment really threw me off way long time ago. Okay. But I am glad that Porsha has now found her own. Okay. Over these years, you watched her become more confident. Before, she was just some football player's wife who was some trophy, right? And now she's become a lot more confident. She's gotten a divorce and she is a mom now. And she is now sort of creating her own self outside of the Cordells of the world, right? So I'm here for Porsha winning. And so now she's found love. I do think she's love happy, like she's love hungry. She wants a man. She wants somebody to be in her life, but she's been very honest about the fact that she wants love. She's not around saying that she doesn't need it. She wants to be in love. And now I think that she has that. She's found love very quickly and she's grabbing her little bag of happy and she's running with it. And so, hey, who says that you can't meet somebody and then a month or two later be engaged to be married? Who said that you can't do that? And if this man had already left his wife, let her have it. I mean, if he wants to date around because he's already filed for divorce, he can do that. And if he met her in the last month and he wants to pop the question and give her this like a multi-million-dollar ring, let him do that. Who am I to say that they can't get married? Just saying.
Nicole, let me talk some sense to you real quick. One, I understand why you like Phaedra because Phaedra was giving Southern Belle vibes. She was the Southern Belle of the show. If I had to pick a Real Housewife of Atlanta character that reminded me most of you, it would be Phaedra. But the difference is, as you said, Porsha and Phaedra aren't the same people. Phaedra, attorney. Porsha, what's she do? I don't know. Maybe it's me. What did she do before? And Porsha's track record with love is just bad. Here's the thing. I want her to be happy. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be in love. I think that everybody deserves love. But you can't be so thirsty for love that you just take it any way that it comes to you from whoever it comes to you from. There have to be some boundaries in life. We push for boundaries for everything else, but we make really raggedy excuses for the reason why we fall in love with people that we know good and well we should not be falling in love with. And we should not even have put ourselves in the position to be falling in love with them. I'm just saying.
Porsha, yes, before she was some football star's wife, but now she has rebranded herself, girl. She is an entrepreneur now. She has her own hair care line and own skincare and makeup. She's doing the dang on thing. Okay. Do we have to give her props there? She is doing her thing in terms of entrepreneurship. Hey, you got to give it to her there.
Okay. I'll give it to her.
She has taken this branding to a whole different level. And now she is actually a businesswoman. So she has made something of herself. Period.
Okay, then if that is the case, then why do you need to marry your friend's husband? Help me understand.
Because that's not her friend.
Nicole, you say that it's not her friend. Let me tell you, when I watched this interview with Fallon,
the girl said that wasn't her friend either.
When I watched this interview,
episode aired.
Okay, so then what, you bought this friend? So you bought a friend? That's even more raggedy.
Just because I know of you and I've met you a few times does not make me your friend.
Okay, pause. How about this? Why are you with the father of your child or children? I don't know if he's the father of both kids or if she even has two kids. I don't really know, because I don't really get into people's life like that. But I know that one of her children, at least, the father is Dennis. The friend of Dennis is the man that she's with now. So let's just say they aren't friends. That's still raggedy, Nicole. It's raggedy. You dipping and dabbing in the same circle of men, raggedy. Now tell me it's not.
First of all, she only had one child, I believe.
Okay. So her one child, the father of her one child, is friends with her soon-to-be husband. Help me understand. Nicole, now you know good and well, if I came to you and said...
You snooze, you lose. And
if I
that's
come
not
to
her
you,
fam. That's
it's raggedy. Sorry.
They got to work that out. They have to work that out. That has nothing to do with her.
It does, Nicole. You are dipping and dabbing in the same circle of friends. You know good and well that man and your baby daddy are friends. So I don't understand why you would think that that was appropriate. I'm not really sleeping with...
Dennis don't have that kind of... He not on that level. You really think they're friends?
Nicole, just because you're not on that level...
Or they know of each other?
No, I think that they're friends. Here's the thing, Nicole. Even if they're not friends, even if they're just close acquaintances...
But neither one of them are mad at it.
If we filming on the same show...
They're both cordial. They're both cordial.
And they're probably sitting laughing and dapping it up and kikiing about her. And he probably gonna move while he's giving her a ring, because he gonna move on to the next one. Like, come on now. Because clearly Jessica is the one who said that she met him in March and he was hanging out with her friends and talking about how terrible his marriage was. As Jessica said, he moves faster than the car he drives. So, boop, what does that tell you?
Well, he didn't move fast with her. She didn't get no ring.
He just met her.
He's been with Porsha for what, a month? They talking about how fast he moved with Porsha?
And that's...
This Jessica girl just mad because she didn't get a ring.
I think she dodged a bullet personally.
She mad. And let me tell you something about haters. Y'all listening? Haters are going to hate. This Jessica person came out the woodworks. So she was like, I've been hanging out with him, but I didn't get a ring. He was talking to me about how dirty his wife was, and I didn't get a ring. This Porsche girl come around in April, she got a ring already. Just hating. That's all that is.
I agree. Why are we out here doing this to ourselves? Like, let me tell you something. I don't care what you say and how many gender roles we would like to pretend don't exist. Let me tell you something. It just does not look the same when a woman is circling around the same crew of men as when men circle around the same crew of women. I'm just saying, it just don't look right to me. Do what you do. I wish the couple the best. I hope that Fallon, gets over her divorce and moves on and is happier than ever. I wish everyone the best in this situation. I hope that Jessica finds somebody that is going to take care of her and so on and so forth. I hope that everyone lives their best life after this situation. All I'm saying is that this is a little sticky and subsequently messy. That's just all I'm saying.
Fallon is probably gonna walk around, get her little checks, girl, and meet her some young spoogie and move on. She is not worried about them.
I hope so, because not for nothing, he not really that cute either. So
no,
you know he got a big check or big
I hope
something
he got
else
a good personality. Maybe he got a good personality. He might be nice.
Nicole, I just don't feel comfortable. Let me tell you something. I don't feel comfortable with this. You and I are friends on a show together. How would you feel if you and James got a divorce and a month after starting to date him, I now have a ring like yours and we finna get married?
One, the ring is bigger than hers. Two,
even worse.
They met on the set. She had been dating this man before. Okay. So let's be clear. It's not like they were chummy and they were friends and all of a sudden she's engaged to this man's wife. That is not the case. So that's different. And Janine, me and you have known each other for a long time. And it's not like we meet up once a week, do a podcast, and then I'm like, bye, Trick. I ain't talking to you until next week. We talk like every day. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're right. I just don't see it. I don't see any circumstance where I would think that it would be appropriate for me to marry my friend's ex. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think it's appropriate to marry your friend's ex, but these chicks ain't friends. They're not friends.
Clearly. That is, you know what? That is a very good point. Clearly they are not. Even if they were, they are clearly not friends anymore because, oh, child.
Let's talk through some scenarios, why don't we?
Go for it.
My letter reads, Dear Nicole and Janine, I've been with my boyfriend, who is now my fiance, for a year now, and we recently got engaged a couple of weeks ago. We met online and things moved quickly. I work as a travel nurse, so I'm not home much. However, now I'm back in town in Chicago and am planning an engagement party as a surprise to announce the engagement to my family. I haven't seen my cousin, who's also a friend, since I started dating my fiance because of the pandemic. However, she came over to help me plan the engagement now that we're both vaccinated. I finally showed her the pics of David, my fiance, and she became quiet. Later that evening, she admitted that she had previously been with my fiance. They had a one-night stand 2 years ago, and she ended up pregnant. I recalled her getting pregnant and the abortion, but she didn't recall the guy's name. My cousin said she doesn't feel comfortable helping me plan my engagement announcement, nor does she feel comfortable being a part of my wedding. Now I'm torn. I don't know how to feel. On one hand, I feel disappointed in him, almost betrayed. I can't believe he has slept with someone in my family and fathered a child with her, although she had an abortion. On the other hand, we didn't know each other at the time. What should I do? How should I talk to him about the situation?
Okay, so it's not really clear to me from the letter if your boyfriend and fiance knew that this was your cousin or didn't know that this was your cousin. I'm going to assume that he knew that this was your cousin. But before we can even get to that, let's talk about this for a second. You cannot force your cousin, who is also your friend, to be involved in this wedding. While as human beings, we would like to say that we are happy for someone when they move on from a relationship with us. That's not really how we genuinely feel. We understand that we should be happy for the person, but the truth of the matter is, really deep down in our heart, we want their relationship with the next person to not be as great as the one that we had with them. That's just human nature. She never said that she doesn't want to be friends with you. She never said that she doesn't want to continue a relationship with you as her family and cousin, but she just said that she can't be a part of this. And I understand that. I wouldn't want to be a part of my ex's wedding to my cousin or my friend, to be very honest with you. And in addition to that, there's an added element to this because they didn't bring life into the world, but she got pregnant by him. All of that is just very emotionally taxing. And to be very honest with you, why would you want to open up those kind of wounds for your cousin? I'm not saying that you shouldn't marry this man, but this is getting into a really sticky situation. And I think that you should, pump the brakes for a second, pause, have a conversation with him about it, and don't beat around the bush. Nicole always says the best approach is the direct approach. Don't beat around the bush. Come out and say, hey, I know that you were in a relationship with my cousin. Whether it was a relationship that you thought that you all were dating or you were just having a one-night stand or a hookup or whatever you thought that this was, you all had sex. Subsequently, she got pregnant and there was an abortion. That's something that needs to be discussed before you move on with this relationship. That's just a lot. It's a lot. And think about this. As you go on, once you marry him, is it going to re-traumatize your cousin every single time? So you need to think about if you can have these two relationships simultaneously. Can you have this man be your husband and have your cousin, who is also your friend, maintain the cousin-friend relationship? I don't know. I guess, to our friend, you have some decisions to make. Make the best decision for you. And if you feel uneasy about it, my aunt once told me, if there's any doubt in your mind, up until you say I do, you could be at the altar. Up until you say I do, if there is any doubt in your mind, run the opposite direction.
So for this situation, I would say, at first I was thinking your cousin will get over it and move on. But now I'm sitting here, I'm listening to you, Janine. I'm rethinking about the situation. And this is your friend and this is your cousin. She's had an abortion. And so I know that that in itself is a lot to move past. And every time she sees him, it's going to be a reminder that I had an abortion, right? So that is going to be a lot for her to get over. So I think that the first step I would take, if I were you, is I would talk to my fiance and say, hey, listen, there's something I need to talk to you about. And this is my cousin. And I don't even know the cousin's name because she didn't say the cousin's name, but I know his name is David. And I would say, David, I know that a couple years ago, before you met me, you had a one night stand with my cousin. I know that it probably wasn't serious. I know you didn't talk to her after that, but she ended up getting pregnant. This is who it is. This is a picture of her. He may not even remember who she is, right? Because they had a one night stand. She couldn't even remember the man's name to figure out, to tell her cousin who he was, right? Mm-hmm. She ended up getting pregnant by somebody she didn't know and ended up getting an abortion. So he probably doesn't even know that she had the abortion. So I would say, listen, this is who it is. You had a one night stand with her. She met you at such and such place, just to make sure that she's not confusing him with somebody else. Because
that's true.
When you're in the club and you're over alcohol, you might think you saw somebody. You might think you had sex with somebody that you didn't have sex with. Okay. So let's make sure that we actually know who we had sex with. This is why I say we have to be selective with our vaginas, ladies.
Amen.
Okay. So we know the names of the people that we had sex with, but I digress. Okay. But either way, the first thing I would do is confirm that vagina and penis actually linked up. Okay. That's the first thing. Okay.
Yep.
This is a picture of my cousin. Have you seen this woman before? She said that she had sex with you. Okay. You had a one night stand. I'm not angry with you. I'm not blaming you. You had a good time. She had a good time. But I do want you to know that she ended up getting pregnant and she ended up having an abortion. Because of that, this is a really good friend of mine. She is not going to be in the wedding. I'm not sure how to take that because I depended on her as support and I want to continue to be her friend, but we need to communicate to see if that's even a thing, to see if that's possible, because I don't want her to feel uncomfortable coming over here every time she sees you. And I would have that discussion with my fiance to see how he felt about it and what he wants to do about it and see if he had any insight about it. And then once we confirm that, then I would go back to my cousin and say, listen, I know how you felt. I took some time to think about it. I did talk to David. He did confirm to me that, yeah, you guys did link up. He had no idea that you had an abortion. He feels really bad that you had to go through that by yourself. I feel really bad that you had to go through that. But, this is the man I love. And I want you to be a part of it, but I completely understand if you do not want to be there. And like Janine said, you can't force somebody to be a part of your wedding. But to me, the bigger conversation is, where does a friendship go, right? A wedding is one day. Where does a friendship go? So I would have that conversation with, hey, I completely get it. You don't have to be a part of the wedding, but perhaps we can all sit down and have a conversation just to see how you feel, to see if we can even be, see how we can tread as friends, because I don't want to lose you as a friend, but this is the person that I love and I can't blame him for something that happened way before he met me.
I agree with what you're saying, but then I just thought about something else. Do we really want to be with the man that's out here raw dogging on one night stands?
Let me tell you something,
it's just
girl.
A question.
Men are opportunists. Just like that cousin was an opportunist. She went out to have a good time to get her some. Men are opportunists. So if you're telling me that, hey, you should exclude all men that have had a one night stand in their lives, and men should exclude all women that have had a one night stand in their lives, we would look around, the earth would stop being populated.
I'm not talking about excluding them, but I don't know. I would like to exclude the ones that are raw dogging on the one night stand. We didn't
know what happened. The condom could have broke. They could have been sloppy. I mean, we don't know. Let me put the tip in before I put the condom on. People do that kind of thing. The foreplay. We don't know what happened in that room.
Now, Dr. Plenty, I know good and well that you are not about to sit here and say that is good sexual health behavior. That's not.
It is not. I am an OBGYN. I have heard it all. Let me tell you, this is a side note. Anytime somebody says, let me just put the tip in before they put the condom on. That is a lie. They will get lost in the sauce. They will stroke at least 3-4 times before they pull out and put that condom on. Do not believe them. Okay. This is how you end up with pre-ejaculate and pregnant. Okay. A couple weeks later. I'm just saying. Okay. So we don't know what happened in that room because everybody does not have real safe sex practices. Okay. Which is making sure you use lubrication on the outside of the penis and
the condom.
You put the condom on. Yeah. And inside of the condom and the outside of the condom. Okay. People don't do that. And you're going to do that before you rubbing it on the outside. And, before you're doing all that stuff that we do, you're supposed to have condom on. Okay. People don't do that. And when you are under the influence, when you are a little tipsy, you can get lost in the sauce. And then all of a sudden you're like, woo, wait, I done slipped in. Let me pull out and then put a condom on. People do that. And then you end up in this situation. I don't want to say he was out here just raw dogging it because we don't know that. We're putting this man out here bad and he may not have been doing that. But again, This is why we got to be selective. Sometimes things happen, right? People are like, oh, I just wanted to go out and have a good time.
Can you give me what the percentages of things happening?
I wish I did have a percentage.
The things happening rather than people just being reckless?
Yeah, I know. I think people just being reckless. But that's just me because you can't really differentiate between that. I think the abortion and the emotions behind the abortion make it a big thing. But even if it wasn't the abortion piece in there, she still slept with the fiance 2 years ago or however long ago it was. And so we still have a situation where she would still be telling her, hey, I slept with your fiance before you met him. It may not have been as big of a deal.
I was about to say, I can get over that. I can't get over the baby. That's just me.
Is that what you can't get over? The baby and the abortion?
From the cousin's perspective, if I were the cousin, if I had, first of all, the whole one night stand thing is a little foreign to me, but like if I had a one night stand with someone and I had never seen them again and my cousin just popped up and been married with them, I don't know that person from a can of paint. Like, okay, whatever.
Okay, well, let's change the scenario a bit. Let's say she didn't have the abortion. Let's say she had a love child and she just didn't tell him about the love child because she didn't remember his name. And then she saw him in the picture and she was like, oh my God, that's my baby daddy. Now, as the letter writer, what would you do?
I would not marry that man. First of all, I don't like the habit of being in the same circle and having sex with the people in the same circle. That's just weird to me. But really weird when it's in your family. It's just weird. I don't want a cousin sister, a cousin child. I don't want none of that.
Yeah, you got a point there. I mean, if you could walk away from that, yes. But again, I would still say it would still not be the fault of David's. Okay. Because he had no idea.
You're right.
And I would still not blame this listener for staying with David because to me, that would still be something that could be worked through. Personally, I would probably also be like, okay, this is sort of sticky for me. Now you got this child that's 2 years old that, I'm probably like sending gifts to every year and helping her out because we're close cousins, right?
Ugh. A mess.
And we didn't know you. We were dogging you because we didn't know you all this time. And here you are dating me for a year.
A mess. It's a mess.
It's messy. All right, Johnny.
So my letter reads, Dear friends, you all did an episode called Black Girl Code, and I wanted to write in and share my story. It's super short. I'm a woman of a certain age, and up until recently, I had never been married. No particular reason. Guess I was just focused on my career. My best friend in the whole world divorced her husband 5 years ago, but we are still all really close. Recently, Michael, my best friend's ex-husband, lost his job due to the pandemic. He is a diabetic and has atrial fibrillation, so he really needs health insurance. He came to me and asked me if I would marry him so that he could have health insurance. I agreed, and we got married at the Justice of the Peace last November. Nothing about our relationship has changed. We don't live together. We are not intimate. We have never been intimate. So I didn't feel the need to tell my best friend. Am I wrong for this? Signed, Amber.
Hell yeah, you wrong. I mean, he could have gotten health insurance from somewhere else. If he has to take out of his savings, if he has to take out his 401k, if he has to call his mama, if he has to call a cousin and borrow something to get somebody's HMO, he can get that. Okay. He could have qualified for somebody's health insurance. That is absolutely not. Absolutely not. For health insurance? Oh no. It's called get yourself a trainer. It's called get in shape. It's called lose some weight so that you can qualify for a better rate. But I'm not about to marry you. And then you out here, you've never been married and you're in a sexless, loveless relationship, a secret relationship to benefit somebody else. And so now you can't get married? Like, why would you shortchange yourself?
I've heard of a lot of reasons for people to get married. I really have. But health insurance
for her.
Thank you.
Where's her benefit?
Here's the thing. Health insurance, you can get health insurance for free. And all these programs that are out here, especially now that we have been living through a pandemic, your husband, I guess, and your friend's ex-husband could have gotten health insurance. This man is being lazy. Like, really, do the research, find the programs, get you some test strips and health insurance, and go get your AFib checked out. Make sure you have your medicine and your blood thinners and all that. Got it? You don't have to be married to get the health insurance. That's number one, like Nicole said. But number two is, if it's so innocent and all you're doing is marrying him for health insurance, please explain to me why you didn't tell your best friend in the whole wide world.
Yeah, but my thing is, why you? Why not marry somebody else?
Why didn't you say you had a grievance and go back on your wife's health insurance?
And my thing is, you've been grinding. You're a woman of a certain age. You're worried about your career. That means you got some long dollars. And so hopefully you got him to sign a prenup, because if not, he done got you for the okie doke. And you divorce him, you're going to be paying alimony. Why? Because he can't really work. Because he got healthy. He got these health conditions that you knew about when you married him. That's just not smart, sis.
You think that he pulled the okie doke on her, Nicole?
Oh, he pulled the okie doke, honey. He about to get taken care of.
I didn't even think about that, but that's a mess.
But that's what you get. And when your friend finds out, she needs to whoop you. She needs to whoop your tail. And you need to sit there and let her. Because you are wrong for that.
Not let her whoop your tail, though, Nicole.
You better let her.
Here's my thing.
How much somebody's ex-husband like that?
But that's my thing. How much of a friend are you really? I just don't understand. If you all are best friends in the world, why you don't feel the need to tell her that you're married to her ex-husband? And if it's so innocent that he just needs health insurance, why does it matter?
Some stuff out.
She's leaving
some type of stuff out. She's a woman of age. She's never been married. You mean to tell me that she ain't got no benefit? I think she want a pole in the room.
It might be. Let me tell you.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what it is. Maybe she wants to have kids.
That relationship is platonic. You a lie.
Look, I think that maybe that biological clock is ticking and she thinks the relationship is going to change. But now that you made the point about him having pre-existing health conditions and probably not going to be able to work in the future at some point, and if they're of a certain age, that she might be about to be keeping this man so that he's sitting pretty. Sis, I hope that you're not getting got, but it really sounds like you might be.
He didn't came up.
Yeah, sounds like she might be like our person from last week that was thinking about the Tesla co-sign. Oh, ladies.
Hopefully that person didn't co-sign that Tesla.
I hope not. But ladies, can we just pump the brakes? Timing is everything. Pump the brakes. Let's make wiser decisions and not make decisions based on some imaginary timeline that we have for our lives or where we feel like we should be or what society has told us that we should be. Let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes and think about things a little bit more thoroughly before we make decisions like this. Because what are we out here doing? And why are we making marriages for insurance? I just don't understand. But it's okay. We're not judging you, Amber. We're not. All we're saying is this doesn't look too good, but you can overcome anything. So we just hope that he gets a good job and gets off your insurance and y'all can get a divorce. And then both you and your friend can be his ex-wives.
What you learned new this week, Janine?
So this isn't really a learn something new. This is like a discovered something new. So y'all out here raggedy. By y'all, I don't mean our listeners, because our listeners are pristine and they would not go for stuff like this. But apparently, there are some people out here that believe that there is a classy way of dating your friend's ex, which I'm not saying that I agree with this. What I am saying is this is what is on the internet. Okay. Here are the steps to classily dating your friend's ex. Number 1, Porsha, is do not date an ex-spouse. Amber, both of y'all, don't do it. Number 2, do ask for permission or blessing from your friend before dating their ex. That's weird, because if you call me and ask me for permission, I'm going to probably have a few choice words for you. I'm not giving you permission though, because that's raggedy. Number 3, don't date soon after they broke up. So there should be some years, supposedly, there should be some years between the relationships. Number 4, take it slow. No sex until you know that the relationship is strong. That's important. Don't go try to bring babies into this world till you all know that that's for real. Number 5, don't flaunt the relationship. As I said before, people really want the next relationship to not be as good as the relationship they have with the person. So don't nobody want to see it when you're flourishing with their ex. That's mad weird. And y'all are weird. Stop doing this to each other. And the last one, and probably the most important, and probably the only one in this list that's important, is if dating a friend's ex is causing you any kind of problems, do not do it. So let me tell you this. There are 7 billion, with a B, billion people in this world. Ain't no reason why you have to date your friend's ex. That's all I'm saying. There are 7 billion. What you learned new this week, Nicole?
So I learned that 56% of Americans say they want a partner who provides financial stability more than love. And that is a survey by Merrill Edge. But according to divorcemagazine.com, the number one cause of divorce is also money. So y'all, we marrying for money, we divorcing for money. What we doing? Why is love not a factor now in marriage? So I thought that that was very interesting. And then I also thought when it came to love and relationships that a Newsweek survey said that 15 to 20% of couples are in a sexless marital arrangement. Isn't that something? And
That's
this is
right,
This is below the age of 50. You would think, okay, if you're 65 and you're in a sexless marriage, who cares, right? Like your libido is down and all that. Actually, women are not, our libido is not down at 65. I'm just saying. It's not surprising that as you age, you don't have as much sex, but under age 50? But you know what I did find interesting? Of people that are dating family members and married to family members, 0.2% of people are married to their second cousins or closer. And the lowest divorce rates.
No. We are not condoning incest because that is what that is.
We're not. But you asked me what I learned new on my little journey of research for this episode.
What?
And that is what I learned new.
What? This sounds like some white underbelly documentary kind of stuff. I don't like it. I don't, and I know none of our listeners are married to their cousins, but if y'all are married to your cousin, please write us and tell us about you being married to your cousin, even if it's like a third or fourth cousin. We're not going to judge you. Just tell us how it happened. Maybe y'all found out you was cousins after you got married. Who knows? But
maybe we do need to do an episode about being married to a cousin.
In Maryland, it is legal to marry your second cousin. It's weird.
In a lot of states, it's
weird. It is not socially acceptable. And I'm not talking about Janine and Nicole's standards of social acceptability. We are talking about the United States standards of social acceptability. It is not considered socially acceptable to marry your family member. However, it happens. I know several people who are married and or have kids with family members, okay? So I understand that it happens. But let's not normalize incest, okay? Can we not do that? 15 to 20% of y'all, just no.
It's only 0.2% of them. That's
okay.
15% to 20% of y'all ain't having sex in your marriages.
I don't like none of these, Nicole. I don't like none of it. Okay, give us some motivation because that's
all right. The motivational moment for the week. Ladies, we believe that securing the bag is important, but we don't believe in sacrificing your own dignity to do so. Respect yourself and make those who say they love you respect you as well. Until we meet again,
pray, work, slay,
and show off your melanated excellence.
Bye.
Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations is produced by Nicole Lee Plenty and Janine Brunson Johnson. Executive producer, Ken Johnson. Get the Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversation podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or where you get your podcasts. Please subscribe and rate us. You can follow Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations on IG at Oh, That's Deep, BWC. Oh, That's Deep, Black Women Conversations is a Mean Old Lion Media production.